Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Joanna G. Holden, and I'm a fantasy author and author tuber. Normally I post videos related to my writing journey, my self-publication journey, and the tips and tricks I've learned along the way, which I share with you my how-tos. However, I also do videos about my own books and about their releases, information regarding the story and the characters and things. This is a way for me to talk about my books that I have written, that I have published, that I love. And if you have not been following me on social media, which shameless plug, there's links in the description box below, then you may not know that my debut novel, Snow Dust, released in ebook format this past Saturday. Snow Dust is a middle grade fairy tale retelling of the Snow Queen, and you can find it right now on Amazon Kindle as well as Kindle Unlimited. You can get it there for free. Now, I had originally planned to release Snow Dust on May 2nd, and the paperback will be coming out then. There have been some glitches that have kept me from being able to release it as well. But I went ahead and released the ebook early, so these videos that will be coming out over the next couple of weeks are my pre-launch videos that are now post-launch videos, but regardless of all of that, I hope that you enjoy them, and if you are considering purchasing Snow Dust, want to know more about it, or if you're just here for the fun of a good book tag, then stick around and watch. I decided to create a book tag so that I could talk about the book, but that also I could make a way for other authors to talk about their books through the use of something that's fun and creative. I love book tags. I haven't done as many of them as I would like, and I've always wanted to do one for my own book. So these will be Snow Dust themed, but the individual questions can be asked of anyone's book. So if you are a writer, if you are on AuthorTube, if you are just on Instagram or Facebook or here on YouTube and you just want to do this tag for your book, just use it. I am tagging all of you watching this to take this tag and apply it to your book and get talking about your book and have some fun. Okay, let's talk Snow Dust. Okay, so I have the questions listed here, and so I will be looking down to read them. Apologies, but that's the easiest way to do it. Question number 1, Gerda and Kay. Tell us about the central relationship in your novel. In Snow Dust, the central relationship is between, obviously, Gerda and Kay. Gerda is the main character, a 10-year-old girl who is living in Holland, living with her mother and father. She had an older sister, San, who passed away, and she is still trying to find her normal after that, although that is not a central part of her story as far as her sister goes. It's still part of her character development, and it is part of where Kay fits into her life. Kay is also 10 years old. He's the boy who lives next door. They have been best friends forever, and especially in the 5 years since San has passed. Kay is the very definition of a 10-year-old boy. He is full of energy. He is very boisterous and has lots of fun. He loves to play pranks and he loves to joke. He and Gerda are friends and sometimes frenemies. She can just be very bossy, try to be in charge. Kay bucks that though, and he continues to shake things up. Make her life interesting, make her laugh. And they have quite a few squabbles, but they always remain loyal to each other. As the beginning of the story kind of unfolds, we do see that Gerda has some frustrations relating to Kay, but as Kay is kidnapped by the Snow Queen, which is one of the first events of the story, it is indeed the catalyst. Or maybe not the catalyst, maybe it's the disturbance, whatever you want to call it. It happens in the first act of the book. As he is kidnapped by the Snow Queen and taken away, Gerda finds her frustrations in their relationship challenged, and her own real reasons for being frustrated challenged, which challenges her character as a whole. So their relationship is one of deep, abiding friendship, deep loyalty to each other, and the willingness to go to any extent to help and to save each other. And because the story is written in dual POV, even though it is mainly Gerda's story, we do get inside of Kay's head, and we get to see his side of the relationship, his side of the friendship, and also, spoiler alert, we get to see what's happening in the Snow Queen's palace through his perspective. So there you go. Question number 2, family, friends, and highwaymen. Tell us about the supporting cast of your novel. I will keep this brief, I promise. Because the story follows a journey, it follows Gerda going after Kay to save him. We meet and then lose contact with quite a few different characters, but there are a few characters who stay pretty central throughout the book. Now, the characters introduced in the latter half of the book, I don't want to say too much about because I don't want it to get spoilery, but I can mention a couple. One of the number 1 key supporting cast members is Oma Eileen, that is Gerda's grandmother. And the very opening scene of the book, she is telling Gerda and Kay a story about the Snow Queen, and it's kind of what kickstarts everything off. She really only shows up in the beginning and in the end, but her influence is kind of what starts the whole journey, so, you know, she's mentioned quite a bit. One of the key B-story characters in Snowdust is of all things, a field raven named Gustav. If you have read the original Snow Queen fairy tale, then you may remember him. He did not have a name in the fairy tale. I had to name him. But Gustav is a field raven who doesn't really like humans until he meets Gerda. And they end up helping each other through this adventure. And even though we did not get nearly as much page time with him as I had wanted, he's such a fun character to write, we did get to see quite a bit of him, and he follows Gerda throughout the whole book, from his meeting her to the very last chapter. Of course, there's the Snow Queen. Couldn't really go anywhere without mentioning her, because she has a lot of page time and she's a very pivotal character because she is the bad guy. She is very sweet and kind and caring, and yet mysterious and elusive and magical, and draws you in. And of course, she's incredibly, incredibly beautiful. But right beneath the surface of all that is some evil badness getting ready to pop out and scare the heckfire out of you. She's a very, very powerful enchantress, and she has some evil plans for the end of the world. And when Kay gets infected with snow dust in his eyes and in his heart, he unwittingly becomes a huge key player in her master plan to take over the world. Question number 3. Bedtime stories. What legends, folklore, or tall tales come into part? What legends, folklore, or tall tales come into play in your story? The very first scene in Snowdust is Oma Eileen telling Gerda and Kay a story about a sprite who created this magical mirror using a substance that he created called Snowdust. And the Snowdust was made partially from the Snow Queen's enchanted ice, which she had stolen from her palace, and now she's trying to get back. We never know for sure exactly how true the story is. It's never confirmed, it's never denied, but it's made very obvious that at least parts of it are true, and that for sure and certain the Snow Queen herself is true. So it starts off with that story, and the story comes and pops up every once in a while throughout the book. That is really the only true legend that's introduced in this book, but it is definitely a very, very big one. Question number 4, the journey north. Where does your story take place for the most part? As I mentioned, this story follows a journey, meaning that Gerda is not in the same location for more than 2 chapters at a time, for the most part. But I will go ahead and just say that for the most part, the book takes place on the road heading north. And then all along the way, we get introduced to a lot of new places, although very few are named. And again, we meet a lot of new characters. So the story largely takes place en route to the north on this north road. Question number 5, snow bees. How do you write your henchmen? Mindless drones or detailed with personal goals? Normally, I try to give my henchmen a little bit more personal goals and a little bit more detail, but in this particular book, the henchmen are indeed these snow bees, which are pieces of enchanted ice that have been given wings and stingers and that follow the Snow Queen's every command. They are the very epitome of mindless drones. They literally just do whatever she wants them to do. But as you see later on in the book, they do have some pretty cool abilities of their own that do come into play toward the end, near the climax. Question number 6, Ice Palace. What location in your novel is unique and hard to describe? There were actually a lot of unique locations in this book. The hardest one to describe was the Ice Palace itself. I had in my mind that there would be these beautiful onion domes with, which is the big bulb, and then, the stem, and then surrounding it will be like these big spiral towers, very long, very thin, but it's very difficult to describe all of that in a way that is detailed enough that you're getting the picture without it feeling like a list, like a check-off list of things that I had to describe, as well as keep it simple enough and engaging enough for a middle grade reader to find it interesting instead of boring. Question number 7, the Rose Garden. What common objects appear in multiple scenes and serve as a tie-in, bringing your main character back to their roots every time? In the original Snow Queen fairy tale, the item that came in the most often was a rose. In the beginning, we understand that Gerda has an obsession with roses. Now, it's winter, so she can't grow them, but her mother actually has sewn her a beautiful fake rose that she views as just as beautiful. And then later on, as she begins to follow Kay, whenever she sees roses, it reminds her of home. It reminds her of the relationship that she had with Kay at the beginning of the book, and it reminds her of what is on the line if she fails. And the last question, Little Robber Girl. Does your novel contain any surprisingly likable characters? I didn't mention this character in the Friends, Family, and Highwaymen question because I wanted her to have her own little segment, but there is a character that shows up in the second half of the book. Her name is Lissa, and if you've read the original Snow Queen fairy tale, she is the little robber girl. She's a girl not much older than Gerda who is wild, who is just... she's wild. She's been raised by these highwaymen, and so she has no manners, she has no boundaries, she has no morals, and she's really rough and tumble. She scares the heck out of Gerda. But somehow, through all of that, underneath all of those layers, Gerda finds something to like and to love about her. And as the author, I personally fell in love with Lissa the more that I wrote about her. And I've had many people tell me that she's one of their favorite characters. There's something about her, despite her craziness, despite her roughness, despite the wildness and the sometimes meanness that she is capable of, there is something about her that is undeniably likable and that honestly looks like it could potentially be redeemable. And because of that, I just had so much fun writing her. I think overall she would probably be that character that you didn't expect to like, but that you just can't help liking. Well, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is my Snowdust book tag. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, all of you who are watching are tagged. Take this book tag, use it for your own books, and start talking about those amazing WIPs, your characters, your locations that you are working on right now. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up down below. And again, if you want to see more videos like this and find out more updates on Snowdust and the other fairy tale retellings that are coming, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Any information you would want to know about me, my books, and some of the writerly helpful services I offer are in the description box below. If you want to pick up your copy of Snowdust, again, it's on Amazon Kindle and Kindle Unlimited. And soon, very soon hopefully, the paperback will be available as well. I hope you all have an amazing rest of the weekend writing, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye! The book attacked me! Let's try this again, shall we? Oh my gosh.